Intelligent Guys here, and today we are going to rank the Safari Ltd 2022 Dinosaurs, excluding the repaints. We don't talk about the repaints. Anyways, let's commence the suffering. At the lowest place in our list is the Nanotyrannus. Now, there's a lot of problems with this guy. Starting off the paint scheme, first of all, it just looks, I don't know, those stripes don't look good at all. I kind of like what they did with the underbelly, but that's really it. I mean, and don't even get started on the face. The teeth, they're painted as, they look like a stereotypical British person. And those eyes, well, he looks like he's seen something. So yeah, it's not very good. Next up with the problems is the sculpt. That head has a little bump on it that I don't like, and that tail is way too short. Otherwise, though, I've seen better sculpts, but it's just okay. And, don't get me started on the fact that Nanotyrannus isn't even a real species. So yeah, it's the worst for a good reason, and I'll give it a 5 or 4 out of 10. Next figure. Next up, we have the Dinosaur. And I have the same problems with this as I had with the Nanotyrannus. Starting off, what's going on with that sculpt? Like, I like how the little bump on his head is, but my God, the scales, there's just a huge lack of detail. And I mean, I know I shouldn't be mad about it because sculpting is hard, but I mean, compared to some of the other figures they made, it's just no. And that paint scheme, it doesn't even look like the show. I mean, there's some parts that I like about it, but it's overall an inconsistent paint scheme. Like, see that little bump on the head? It's not the same color as the spikes, which is, no, that's not okay. And, don't even get me started on the lower head. Like, the way its eye looks make it look high. Safari, we're collecting figures, not getting high with them. I mean, I like how the feet are sculpted, but it's just, this isn't the right figures Safari should be making. They should be making better figures. And don't even get me started on how Stygimoloch might not be a real gene. So I'm going to give this a 5 out of 10. I don't like it. Next up in our ranking is the Cryolophosaurus, and oh my God, I have a love-hate relationship with this guy. Starting off, I like the paint scheme. It looks pretty decent. Second off, I think the paint scheme's generic. Like, compared to like the Dilophosaurus, it looks the same, and that is not good. We need more variety. And another problem is the head sculpt looks wrong. I don't know if it's the lower mouth or the way the teeth abruptly cuts off at the upper mouth. It just doesn't look right. And that crest, it also doesn't look right. I think this is the most average Safari Ltd figure ever. Like, it's like the generic, it's so generic. But I think it's alright. So a 6.5 out of 10. Now this one might be a little controversial, but I'm actually going to put the Patago Titan here. The reason is, I think it's just good. By that I mean, for one, the paint scheme looks just like the Baryonyx. And second of all, the pose, it just looks way too generic. With a figure like the Patago Titan, I was hoping for something a little more upright standing. But otherwise, I think the detail is okay, and I like it. It looks pretty good, and I like it that Safari has made a bigger scale figure. I've been hoping for that for a very long time. So I'm going to give this guy an 8 out of 10. Now for the next one, I really like this figure. It's the Albertosaurus. It has a very good paint scheme. I like the blue and I like the brown. It gives me this Bahama beachy vibe, and I really like it. The body is sculpted well. There is one problem, but only one, which is very good. And that problem is the mouth is a little too widely open. I don't know. It might just be me, but it's a little wide for my taste. But overall, I think this is the perfect Safari LTD Tyrannosaur. It's got a good paint scheme. It's just a really good figure. Now, is this the best Tyrannosaur we got in Safari LTD? Hell no. But it's definitely up there as one of my new favorites. Now, who's the best? The Zool. I really like this figure. It has a very good paint scheme. I mean, everything on this figure is painted pretty well. Minus the eye, I guess, but hey, everything else looks great, especially the spikes. And I really like what they did here. I thought that the blue color would look kind of bad on this figure, but it actually looks pretty good. It also gives me this beachy, oceany vibe, and I like it. It's got amazing detail, and it looks a lot like the real thing. I don't have many complaints about this guy. I think I'm gonna give it an 8.5 out of 10. I hope you agree with my ranking, and if you have a ranking for it, why not put it in the comments? Now please subscribe.